This is like a surreal moment. I think Jessica said it best, is that I'm real. You might think I'm going to get up here and be like, I'm here, hello. I'm going to teach you all the ways. But for me, this is such a, what am I doing up here moment. Because not even 2 years ago, I started my journey with Beachbody. And I went to my first Super Saturday in October of 2014. At the time, I was a coach for about 4 months, and I wasn't going to go. I was like, why would I want to hang out with Beachbody coaches on a Saturday? I have 2 friends in Raleigh I would like to hang out with. Oh yeah, they don't want to hang out with me, so I guess I'll go to Super Saturday. So I went to Super Saturday, and that was an eye-opening day for me, because we sit behind our computers and we do these things and we hear these stories, but then we come to events like these, and it brings everything to life. Hearing stories like John, and hearing from Krista, and about how this opportunity has changed their lives so much. And that's what happened for me that day, and I'll never forget going to that Super Saturday, and I was so nervous, and I dragged my husband along with me, and I was sitting in the back, and I was like, who's that person on stage? Man, they must be super cool or special, or know what they're doing. Well, the truth is that person on stage that day, just like I'm here today, we are absolutely no different than anyone in this audience. And that's the one thing that I hope that you take with you today, is that I'm not special. There's nothing fantastic or great about me. I'm not smarter than anyone else. But I had a vision when I came into this opportunity. And for me, just like Jessica said earlier, I had hit a place of desperation in my life. And I had a few choices to make to decide what my future was going to look like. So I'm going to go back and rewind a little bit and tell you a little bit about who I was before Beachbody and before all of this. So I'm from Leroy, Kansas. There's about 500 people in that town, no stoplights. I graduated with a class of 33 students. We combined high school as my senior year. And so, very, very small town. And after high school, I decided to go to college at Kansas State, and I decided to be a teacher. I didn't really want to be a teacher. I wanted to be a news broadcaster, or I loved trading spaces, so I wanted to be an interior designer. And I didn't know this at the time, but it was definitely a lot of limiting beliefs, and I didn't think I was actually capable of doing any of those things. So I was like, teacher, check, easy, done, got it. Not only was I a teacher, I also chose family and consumer sciences, so home ec. It's so funny to look back, because I was teaching cooking classes 6 years ago, and I chose that career based upon, okay, I could do this. It was obtainable. It was easy in my mind. I didn't have to stretch myself. And honestly, I really didn't have to stretch myself. But in that, there was no reward. I graduated from college, and I was super excited because I was going to be a teacher, and I was going to be rolling in the dough, and life was going to be so good. And that first year after college, wow, what a rude awakening. I was living in Kansas City at the time. I had an apartment by myself, and I was lonely, so lonely. And I couldn't pay my bills. I took out student loans. I paid for all of my college, and I couldn't afford to pay back my student loans. And I'll never forget calling my mom and being like, what am I going to do? I'm 22, I can't pay my bills. I joined a debt relief agency, Care One Credit, so I could get by every month. And I did this for a lot of years. After that, I moved down to Oklahoma, and I taught there. And after 2 years of living paycheck to paycheck, and honestly, if I wanted to go out on a Friday night with my friends, I would wait until midnight to go to the ATM, because that's when our paychecks hit, so I didn't have any money. So I'd have to wait. I had all these odd jobs. I worked at the tanning salon. I was telling Jessica, one summer I was out there with the landscape crew picking weeds in front of Jessica's house. That would be me picking the weeds, in the summer. That's what I would be doing. Because I knew I didn't want to live paycheck to paycheck. I knew I didn't want to stress about money. I just didn't know how I was going to get out of that situation. And I was willing to work. I just didn't know what path to take. And so let's fast forward. I met my husband, he went to vet school. And it's funny to watch my husband, because he always had these big dreams. He applied to vet school, which is very hard to get into, and then not only that, but he wanted to go into equine surgery, horse surgery. It's a very competitive field, very hard to get into. That's what he was going to get into. And I'm like, who do you think, like, why can you do all this? And the cool thing is, and it's a lot like Beachbody, when you surround yourself with positive people who believe in themselves, it kind of starts to rub off on you. And so I watched him, and I was like, why do you think you could do this? And I was like, well, maybe I should get a master's degree, but I didn't think I was smart enough to get a master's degree. That was above, like, I'm not that special. I can't get a master's degree. So I actually did get a master's degree because I found a program where I didn't have to take the GRE. Easy, check. You're seeing a pattern here? I was too scared. I can look back now and tell you I was just too scared to fail to even try at these things. So I'd find the easy way. But again, it wasn't rewarding at the end of the day. I got my master's degree to transition into corporate training and design. 2 years ago, I thought I was going to be making cow training modules online, how to train your cows. I was super excited about it. I was passionate about those cows. And it's just so funny because I'm like, that was not passion. It was just like a way to get to somewhere so I didn't have to stress anymore. But so I finished my master's degree. It did help our situation, but at the end of my master's degree, at the end of my husband's vet degree, we found ourselves, honestly, it was probably $240,000 in debt in 2014. At this time, we had moved to Raleigh for his residency. Residents don't actually make a real salary, come to find out. So I was the breadwinner. I was the breadwinner with my job, and that's when kind of everything started snowballing. And the financial strain in our marriage was rough, very, very, very rough. And it had come to a place where I had to make a decision about what we were going to do. And we were fighting every single day about money. We were living paycheck to paycheck. We got paid once a month. We'd have spending freezes. We were putting things on the credit card. But really, it was just the stress in our marriage that I couldn't take anymore. So I had started to look and talk about getting a part-time job at a boutique or bartending. And it came to a place where I just had to do something. At the same time, I hated what I felt like. I would come home every day from my 8 to 6 pretty much, sit on the couch, hope Ben would make me dinner and bring it to me because I had no energy. And that's where I was. And so I cried one night in April 2014 to myself in bed, and I said, I have to do something. So I got out my burned insanity disc from 2010. And in 2010, I was actually teaching Turbo Kick. I was Turbo Kick certified. And I was also hosting insanity workouts in my classroom in school. Why didn't I know about that opportunity then? Contacted free leads. I was a free lead that never got contacted when I reached out to my coach. So I did insanity for a while. I wasn't seeing a lot of changes to my body. And of course, it wasn't me. It was insanity, so I was just going to get a new program. But I got 21 Day Fix. And actually in that, I found 21 Day Fix, and at the same time I found this video from Jessica. I had already ordered 21 Day Fix from beachbody.com. And then I found Jessica's video about the coach opportunity, and I'll never forget it because she's standing outside with her cell phone like this, making this video, talking about how she just made 5 figures in 1 week, and I'm like, who is this chick? Like, she's super normal. She can do it. I'm gonna do it. And I just remember filling out that application being like, pick me, please. I really like Turbo Kick and Insanity. I had no idea what I was getting into that day. And she responded. And sure enough, I sent back my Beachbody order and my challenge pack came, and that's when, I started this business. And I will tell you, it was the first time, after hearing her story, the first time in 6 years that I felt hopeful about my future. Dang it, I hate it when Beachbody people die. It's so typical. But the strain in my relationship with Ben, my husband, it had gotten to the point where I started questioning everything about what I wanted in our future. And if I wanted to even have kids. Because in my mind, if we had kids, I knew that meant more financial stress. One reason I became a teacher is because I wanted to stay home with my kids someday. And so I was like, well, if we have kids, like I'm probably not gonna be able to stay home, and if I do, like we're gonna fight more about money. And I had started really questioning, like, do I even want kids? And this all came out more like, well, I'm just very career driven, so I'd rather have a career than kids, and like I'm gonna work my way up in my field and do something awesome in my field with cow training. Oh, it's funny to think about now. So I had started to question all that. And when I saw this video, it was the first time I thought, like, I don't have to stay in this situation anymore. We can pay off our student loans before we're dead. We don't have to live paycheck to paycheck. And I can build this business. And I will tell you, with my business, I have to give all glory to God, because from the get-go when I found this, I just felt like it was put in my life. And full disclosure, keeping it real, I always thought people just said that. Like, God put it in my life. I was brought up in a very religious home, but I had never had a moment like I had when I found this opportunity. And I knew that this was put in my life for a reason. I was like, why this? This is not what I want. This is not what I wanted to do. I did not want to post on social media. This wasn't what I was looking for, but I just felt like I was supposed to do it. And so I jumped hard. I took a big leap of faith, and I'll never forget some of the texts I sent Jessica in the beginning, like, I just know I'm supposed to be here for a reason. But you have to realize when I came into this that I was exactly like any new coach in the room. I saw a lot of new coaches stand up earlier, and I was exactly like you at that point in my life. I had zero reason to think I could be successful in this business. Zero reason. And I want to talk about a few misconceptions of top successful coaches and what it means to be successful and who can do it. But I had zero reason to think I could be successful. Not one reason at all. But for some reason, I just said, I will do this. This is my only way out. Because life was super hard at the time, and I knew building this business was going to be hard. But I also knew I could choose my heart. So I could stay stuck in my situation, my financial situation with my husband. I could stay there, and it was going to be hard. Or I could build this business, and it would be hard, but it would lead to something better. It would give me a different end result. Whereas this hard, it wasn't ever going to change unless I changed. So I chose to change, and I chose the hard that was going to result in a life change. And that's what I think people forget, is we all start as new coaches, and we all start as being rejected and told no. And we all have those moments where we're super frustrated. And I think that people think successful coaches never went through that. One misconception is that successful coaches, top coaches, never get rejected. We don't face hard times. We just come into it and it's kind of like, yeah, I'm here. You guys ready? Let's do some 21-day fix. That's not how it was at all. I was not on social media before this. Like, I had an account, but I hated it. I hated to see happy people, so I was like, let's get out of this social media world. These people are happy, and I don't want to be around that. But when I came into this, I had to post product of the products. Number one, if you're not doing that, I don't know how you're going to build a business. So that was the first step that I took, and I had to post that on social media. And I think the first 3 or 4 posts I ever put of my transformation out there, I sent to my sister, all of them. I was like, will you read this? Will you look at this? And then I would post it, and I'd like close my computer and go hide. I hated it. It was terrifying. And if you look at my Facebook now, like, it's no big thing anymore, because I've done it so much. But at the time, it was so terrifying. And I was like, what are people going to think? And in college, so one of my warm markets was my college girlfriends. I was in a sorority. And I was so intimidated to put my stuff out there, because the person you see on the stage now is not the person I was when I started this. And when I started this, I did not see myself in a good light, I guess. I didn't think I was enough, and I didn't think I was cool enough or pretty enough. I didn't understand why people would want to join me. And I was terrified of what my sorority sisters would think of me, because in my mind, they were all so much better than me. And they had so much more going on in life, and now they were going to see, me doing this, and was it going to be cool enough? Was it going to fit in? Were they going to judge me? But I will tell you that group of people, and I think we all have that group of people, right, in our life that we're terrified of what they're going to think of us. That group of people, had I not tried, I would have never known that those thoughts were my insecurities, and that for years I had walls of insecurities. And it was never my sorority sisters judging me, it was me judging myself and reflecting that back to them. I wasn't good enough for myself, and I chose to push that on them and act like they made me feel like that. But come to find out, it was all in my head. I was the mean girl. I had my walls up. And this shined a huge light on that for me. I saw that it was all me. And my sorority sisters have been nothing but positive and supportive, a great market for me as well. And they've taught me so much about really who I am and my insecurities as I've grown through this business. Additionally, I think we all go through that Amazon phase, right? Where it's like, they bought on Amazon. I think Jessica got a message like that from me. 2 hours, I was really excited. I was like, my first customer. 2 hours chatting with her on a Wednesday night. I'll never forget it. It was probably like, I stayed up to like 11 chatting with her, 2 hours back and forth. I was like, yeah, woo. And she's like, I just got it on Amazon. And I was like, oh, I hate this business. I quit. And I know I messaged her right away. I was like everyone else. They just ordered on Amazon. This is so stupid. Little did I know, though, that all those people ordering on Amazon, like those were actually people that I was going to help later. And I was going to inspire, and yes, they already had the program when they were coming to me, but I still got to empower them and help them. And that has led to some amazing relationships, amazing coaches, and just amazing moments in my business. Secondly, another turning point for me, I came out on social media that I was a Beachbody coach on July 29th. I was like, June 29th. Terrified of coming out on social media. In Raleigh at the time, I really only did have like 2 friends, it's not a lie. We had moved there a year ago. And I'd really only talked to one of these friends about Beachbody. And I'm telling you, when I signed up, I had the enthusiasm of a 12-year-old. Like, I was like, I'm gonna do this, woohoo! Like, I had no reason. I apologized to Ben and my mom probably 5 times for sounding like a lunatic. I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna build this business, and I'm gonna make $50,000 after 2 years. They're like, and someday I might even build my mom's dream house. I'm like, sorry, I know I sound nuts. And they're like, yeah, you do. They wouldn't tell me that though. You know, like when you look at your kids and they're like, I want to be an astronaut. You're like, yeah, sweetie, you can do anything. That's what I was getting. You can do anything. I'll never forget Ben. Do it, babe. I'm like, lies. You do that, honey. I'm like, yeah, I'll show you. So I came out on June 29th. I went to a 4th of July party with my 2 friends at a pool on July 4th. And at this time, just so you know, I had signed up my husband and my mom and my sister to make Success Club. That was it. I'd signed up nobody else. And that day, my friend, we got to talk about Beachbody, and it kind of took a turn south. And she proceeded to talk about how insanity and P90X, they don't work, they're not real, like they're kind of gimmicks, it's all a big lie. And 5 minutes later, I was crying in the bathroom. This was my first week of being an official Beachbody coach. I had no reason to believe I could be successful. I had 0 reason to believe I could be successful, and then this happens, and I could have quit. I could have walked away that day. I could have said, it's too hard. What are people gonna think? It's not worth it. But I will tell you, it is worth it, and I'm so happy I did not quit. I'm so happy I continued to move forward in the face of it. And that wasn't the only thing that happened. There was family members that called it a gimmick. I cried again on Labor Day weekend after that happened. It's all the time, right? So what pushed me through all of this? Like, what's gonna push you through as you are, moving your business forward as a leader or as a new coach, wherever you're at? I will tell you, the thing for me was my why, and knowing where I wanted to take this business for my family, my future family, that I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. And so there was no other option for me. It didn't matter if I got told no 100 times. It's like Jessica said, I drew my line in the sand, and I knew I had to go in that direction, and I could not quit. I couldn't stop, and I wasn't going to stop. And every day I would hold on to that why, and I'm telling you, this is powerful, because my first goal was to take my mom, who's an angel, on the Cancun trip, the Success Club Cancun trip. That was my first goal. I had no idea what it was going to take. I actually just thought I had to sell 100 challenge packs, which was not the thing at all. It was a lot more than that. I had to climb off of the 7,000 person wait list. But every time I went to watch The Bachelor, or I'd rather take a nap, or I wanted to watch whatever it was, or go out, all I would think about is the day that my mom got off the airplane in Cancun and we rolled up to the resort every day. And I would call my sister, and we would play it out about how this was going to happen and what it was going to be like to take my mom on this trip. And that's what pushed me my entire first 9 months as a coach. Every day, that's what I would think about, and I would live in that moment. And anytime I didn't want to make a post because I was scared, or I didn't want to do the power of 3, or I didn't want to invite someone, I would think about that moment. What it was going to be like when I told my mom that we were actually going. I created the vision, and then I worked to make it happen, because I will tell you what I think is nuts. I think it's really crazy when you are working for something but you don't believe the vision is ever going to come to life. It's going to feel like a waste of time. So no matter what you do, you have to believe wholeheartedly that you're going to bring your vision to life. Or guess what? You're going to hate doing the work every day. But in my mind, that trip was already happening. So every day when I got up and worked, or when I would come home from my job at 6 p.m. and I'd work till 11 p.m. or midnight, night after night after night, it was worth it. Because we were going to Cancun in my mind. It was happening. One way or another, we would be there. If I kept doing the work every single day, and if I kept trusting the process. That's what kept me moving forward. The other misconception about coaches is that we all come in with this confidence. That we're confident, we believe in ourselves, and we just know we can do this. And yes, I had these crazy dreams, and I thought if I worked hard, I could maybe make $50,000 after 2 years and be a stay-at-home mom. But I wasn't confident at all. I was terrified. And I didn't believe wholeheartedly in this business. I am a huge skeptic. I didn't want to be part of any company that ever had a shake. It was not on my agenda. And so when I came into this and dared to dream, there's this blue Coaches Change Lives image that would get posted all the time. And for my first 6 weeks as a coach, I was like, ugh, these people think they're so special and they're not changing lives. Can we just stop it with that stupid sticker? Because I didn't believe it was true. I was like, yeah, people lose 5 and 10 pounds, whatever, but there's no life change going on here, folks. Stop it with a sticker. And I will tell you, I would have thought that for the rest of my life if I did not take action. If I did not do what I was supposed to do. So I hosted my challenge group because I was desperate in life. I needed to move my life forward, and I wanted to take my mom to Cancun. So I hosted my challenge group because that's what Jessica told me to do. And when I did this, I was excited about it because I had sweet results with 21 Day Fix, and I wanted other people to feel that same way. But I still hadn't bought into this changing lives thing. And I hosted my first challenge group. I'll never forget the first weekend in August. I get a phone call at 7 a.m. on a Saturday from someone in their 20s, and I'm like, hello, we're in our 20s. It's Saturday at 7 a.m. Why are you calling me? We don't have kids. I'm in bed. But it was one of my old sorority sisters. I didn't even know she still had my phone number. She'd been in my challenge group. And my first thought was, oh my gosh, she's mad at me. Her Shakeology shipped and she didn't know it was shipping, and now I'm in trouble. Oh no. That was my first thought. I was so scared. And I answered the phone and she goes, Ruth, I just had to call you because I just finished my 3 weeks on 21 Day Fix, and I have to tell you personally, over the phone at least, thank you. Thank you for showing me this program. Thank you for coaching me through this program. It's changed every part of my life. She said, as a female, I've struggled with body image disorders and eating issues since I was 13 years old. And I've always thought I was fat, and I've done all these extreme things to get, this body that I thought had to be perfect. But through this group, I have overcome those things. And and I'm beginning to love myself, and I'm beginning to feel confident. She said, that confidence and that love is playing, she said, I'm not making this up, is playing into my job. It's playing into my friendships. It's playing into my relationship. She said, it's impacted every part of my life, and I just had to call you and tell you thank you. It was at that moment that I was like, where's that sticker? Coaches change lives! Hey, dare to dream! We change lives! But that was the first time I got it. I would have never known that if I did not take action. So if you're skeptical, if you're like, no, this, not really bought into it, you need to take action, because action is the seed to belief. You will never believe something until you do it. So you must take action. You must apply all the steps that are already laid out for us. It's already right there. You must take that action to really believe and see what this company is all about. And her story was just the first of so many stories. Of so many stories of thank yous. And it was the first time in my life where I felt I was making a difference. What I did mattered. The cow training people, that wasn't really making a difference. This was having an impact on other people, and I felt that. And it set a fire. And after that, it was kind of all, I was in. I was ready to do more of this and share more of it. So, my message to you is act anyways. Don't watch. Take action in these things. It sounds crazy as a new coach, and it even sounds crazy as you become a leader. Because as I've gone through this process, it's changed from being a new coach. I remember going through the coach basics, and I was like, I am not saying that stuff. I am not going to say, wait, what am I supposed to say? Why would I say that? I just want to send them my link. Don't I just want to send them to my website so they can buy something? Here's what separates us from salespeople is that we are coaches, and it starts with the relationship, and it starts with getting to know the people who are contacting you. And if you don't know that, you don't know their goals, I don't know how you are going to help them.
Exactly.
Because I remember seeing that I was supposed to ask about people's goals, and I'm like, why? Can't I just send them the link? And I called Jessica, I'll never forget it. I had a moment in my car, and I called her, and I said, hey, I just saw this 5-step invitation process. You actually do this? This is what I'm actually supposed to do? She's like, yeah, that's what we do. And I'm like, okay. And I hung up, and I had another moment where I was like, all right, Ruth, here are your options. You can follow the guidance of someone who's built $1 million business, or you can make your own path. So it's kind of like, all right, I guess I should just do it. And again, action leads to belief, and I would never in my life ever send anyone a link without getting to know them, understanding their goals, understanding their struggles, their obstacles, what's going to mess up their entire journey. I would never send them a link without knowing all of that, because that's where the relationship starts, and that's where we start helping people. We start coaching people before they ever join a group, before they ever become a coach. Every post you put on Facebook is impacting somebody else, hopefully in a positive way. That's what we need to do as coaches. Take action. And when you think you can't do it, that's when you need to do it. When you don't want to follow the process, that's when I dare you to trust the process. Last year, as I was becoming a leader on my team, I watched a training from Melanie Mitro about how to lead your coaches, and it was, again, the exact same thing. I watched it, and I was like, no way, I can't do that. She's the #1 coach, so that's why it's okay for her to do that, but I can't do it. But I sat back again, and then I realized she was literally telling people to do exactly what I did when I started. Exact same thing. So I made myself do it, and it was scary, and it was hard, and I felt like a fake half the time. I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm supposed to do this, so I'm just going to try it. But it's in those moments where you grow and you stretch yourself and you really find out what you're capable of. Because you are absolutely capable of more than you realize. But you will never see that or believe it until you act upon it and try it. And that is where the magic's going to happen. And it's not always going to happen in the beginning. It's not just going to poof, it worked perfectly the first time. You might screw it up the first time, but guess what? Do it again and do it better. See what you can change. Challenge your processes. Look at what you can improve and continue to try and stretch yourself out of your comfort zone. Even when you're looking at it and saying, I can't do that because I'm just this girl from Kansas. I'm not good enough for that. In that moment, that's when you need to do it anyways and prove to yourself that you're more than what you believe. In the end, it all comes back to serving others, though, and knowing that this business isn't about you. It is 100% about all the lives that we can impact, and knowing that each person that comes into your challenge group or to your coach opportunity, they need somebody like you. Just like John said earlier, all Casey said was that he believed in him. He believed in him. And that belief is going to carry people farther than you realize. Because as adults, we're supposed to have it all figured out. We're not supposed to have dreams anymore. We're just supposed to have it all figured out with our jobs and do our job thing, and then maybe retire and just go about that path. But when you have a dream as an adult, that's when the belief of others is going to push you along. And that's what we get to do. We get to inspire hope. We get to give someone a better future in this opportunity. And it takes you encouraging them and pushing them forward every day, even when you don't want to, because your responsibility to them as their coach is to tell them that they can, even when it's like the 20th message, and you're like, I already told you the answer to that. FAQ 52780. Our job is to tell them that they can, again and again and again and again, and hopefully someday that they will believe us. And I know for myself, if I can do it, if I can build this business, anybody else can too. 100%. Stretch yourself out of your comfort zone. Remember that you get to choose your heart and make the choice to act every single day.